With today's market flooded with self-defense ammo choices, figuring out which round to trust with your life isn't exactly straightforward. It wasn't always this complicated. Back in the day, the .45 automatic Colt pistol was the go-to. Its big, slow-moving slug had a well-earned reputation for putting threats down fast. No expansion needed. Loading a mag full of .45 automatic Colt pistol full metal jacket rounds used to feel like a no-nonsense answer to a serious problem. But everything took a sharp turn in the year 2014 when the Federal Bureau of Investigation made the call to return to 9mm. That wasn't just a change in preference. It was a seismic shift in the ammo world. Manufacturers suddenly had to step up and push the limits of what 9mm could do. They started engineering hollow points designed to deliver consistent expansion, deep penetration, and reliable terminal effects. But here's the rub. Not all hollow points are created equal. Some expand too quickly and stop short. Others fail to expand at all. And some behave unpredictably, depending on barriers like clothing or drywall. This kicked off a wave of new bullet designs, with companies competing for the top spot in terms of expansion, penetration, and safety in crowded environments. Over the past 8 years, the innovation hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's only made the decision-making process more complicated. That's where this breakdown comes in. I'm cutting through the hype and digging into the real-world performance, the science, and the legal gray areas. Whether you've just picked up your first concealed carry rig or you've been carrying for decades, this guide will help you choose rounds you can depend on. Number 1. Expanding Full Metal Jacket, EFMJ. Let's kick things off with a round you don't hear much about anymore, the Expanding Full Metal Jacket, or EFMJ. This one was developed by Federal and designed to deliver the feeding reliability of traditional full metal jackets, while still offering terminal expansion similar to a hollow point. It uses a soft lead core and a polymer insert up front, all wrapped in a copper jacket. When it hits a target, that polymer compresses and forces the round to expand almost like a hollow point, but without the open nose that can cause feeding issues in certain pistols. Where EFMJ really shines is in states with tight restrictions on hollow point ammunition, like New Jersey. Because these rounds technically aren't classified as hollow points, they can offer a legally sound self-defense option where traditional expanding ammo might get you into trouble. That said, performance-wise, EFMJs aren't perfect. They can be a bit unpredictable when punching through barriers like heavy clothing or drywall, and penetration can vary. On top of that, Federal has officially stopped producing them, which means finding them is getting harder by the day. If you manage to get your hands on a box and you're not planning to shoot through obstacles, EFMJs still have a place in the toolkit, especially for folks dealing with strict state laws. Number 2. Frangible ammunition. Next up are frangible rounds, an under-the-radar option that doesn't get nearly enough attention. These trace their roots back to mid-century shooting galleries, where the goal was to reduce ricochet injuries. Fast forward to today, and companies like Centerfire have refined this concept into highly specialized ammunition designed for real-world use. Frangible rounds are made from compressed metal powders, usually copper or tin, that crumble on contact with hard surfaces. That makes them ideal for minimizing ricochets and reducing the risk of over-penetration. A good example is the Centerfire 9mm Special Duty, which uses a 100-grain hollow point made from centered metal. This round gives you the classic benefits of frangible tech. It breaks apart when it hits walls or hard objects, which is huge in close quarters, environments like apartment buildings, crowded homes, or workplace settings. The goal is simple: stop the threat without endangering others behind or around it. However, there's a trade-off. Frangible bullets typically don't penetrate very deeply. In a life-or-death situation, that shallow penetration could mean the difference between stopping an attacker or failing to. Also, that unique powder metal composition tends to leave more fouling in your barrel than traditional jacketed rounds, so you'll need to stay on top of your cleaning routine. Still, if your top priority is minimizing the risk of over-penetration in tight spaces, frangible ammo deserves a serious look. Number 3. Jacketed Hollow Point SJHP. Now let's talk about the backbone of modern self-defense ammo, the jacketed hollow point. These rounds have been around since the late 19th century. But they really took off in the mid-1960s thanks to Lee Juris and his groundbreaking Supervel line. Juris flipped the industry on its head by building hollow points with ultra-thin jackets that could reliably expand at typical handgun speeds. Before that, most hollow points weren't dependable. They either expanded too slowly or not at all, because of thicker jackets better suited to rifle velocities. That innovation lit a fire under the industry. Suddenly, everyone was working to make better, more consistent hollow points. Fast forward to today, and jacketed hollow points are the top pick for personal protection and standard issue for law enforcement nationwide. Modern designs deliver highly consistent mushrooming, better barrier penetration, and dependable performance. But even the best hollow points still have their flaws. Heavy clothing, auto glass, and other barriers can throw off their expansion. Plus, they're more expensive than full metal jackets, which makes them less practical for extended training. Still, none of that changes the fact that today's hollow points are head and shoulders above the old school stuff, and they're a major reason the Federal Bureau of Investigation went back to carrying 9mm. Number 4. Jacketed Soft Point JSP. Next up is the jacketed soft point, a bit of an old school round that still earns its keep. Think of it as the middle ground between a full metal jacket and a hollow point. It's built with a soft lead core and a partially exposed nose with a copper jacket wrapping the rest. That open lead tip allows for controlled expansion while the jacket keeps the structure intact for deeper penetration. Take Magtech's 95-grain flat nose jacketed soft point, for example. It offers a respectable balance, solid penetration with some expansion, making it useful for both defense and medium game hunting. But here's the downside. These rounds are known to punch deep, and in high-speed calibers like 9mm, that can mean over-penetration. In tight urban settings or apartments, that's a real concern. That said, in places like New Jersey, where hollow points come with legal headaches, jacketed soft points provide a viable alternative. You still get a round that can stop a threat without running afoul of restrictive state laws. Number 5. Lead Semi-Wadcutter Hollow Point LSWCHP. Yeah, the name's a mouthful, but don't let that fool you. This round has earned its reputation the hard way. It blends the sharp-edge profile of a semi-wadcutter with the energy transfer of a hollow point. Back in the 1970s, this design was a law enforcement favorite. The FBI load was a hot-loaded .38 Special Plus P round with a lead semi-wadcutter hollow point up front, and it was brutally effective in close-quarters fights. You'll still find this round in production today, with companies like Remington and Winchester offering versions tailored for short-barreled revolvers. One of the key strengths of the lead semi-wadcutter hollow point is that even if it doesn't fully expand, that flat sharp-edged nose cuts a nasty wound path. But it's not without its drawbacks. These rounds tend to move slower than modern jacketed designs, and that lower velocity can be a problem when trying to get through thick clothing or cover at distance. Still, if you're carrying a snubby .38 revolver, this load has the track record and stopping power to earn a place in your cylinder. Just make sure you know its limitations. Number 6. Semi-Jacketed Hollow Point SJHP. Now let's break down the semi-jacketed hollow point, which sits somewhere between a traditional hollow point and a soft point. These became popular with law enforcement during the 1970s and 80s, especially with big-bore revolvers. They're built with more exposed lead at the tip than a standard jacketed hollow point, which helps the bullet begin expanding as soon as it hits something. The rest of the round is jacketed to keep it together and drive it deeper into the target. Brands like Remington, Magtech, and Fiocchi still offer solid options, and Remington's scalloped edge semi-jacketed hollow points have built a loyal following over the years. But they're not perfect. In faster rounds like 9mm, expansion can get unpredictable, especially if the bullet hits something like drywall or leather. And since more of the lead is exposed, these tend to foul your barrel faster than fully jacketed options. Still, they offer real stopping power and can be easier on your wallet compared to the top-tier hollow points. Plus, in states with legal issues around hollow points, these can still be carried legally in many cases. Number 7. Ballistic Tip Projectiles. Ballistic tip bullets first hit the scene in 1984 when Nosler introduced a design that redefined how we think about combining accuracy with terminal damage. These rounds feature a sharply pointed polymer tip seated on top of a traditional lead core. That tip plays a dual role. It smooths out aerodynamics for flatter trajectories and acts as a trigger for rapid expansion when the bullet hits its mark. Think of it like this. You get match-grade precision on the way to the target and the violent energy-dumping impact of a well-designed hollow point when it lands. Hornady took this concept even further with their FlexTip expanding FTX line. These cartridges are built for consistent accuracy and powerful energy transfer, especially when used in lever guns or short-barreled handguns. Hornady even produces subsonic versions for those running suppressed setups, and their ammunition is easy to find across the country. If you're looking for a round that performs just as well at the range as it does in a self-defense scenario, and one that plays nice with your suppressor, ballistic tip ammo like the FTX line should be on your radar. Number 8. Solid Copper Hollow Point SCP. The solid copper hollow point isn't just a modern solution, it's a blend of innovation and environmental responsibility. Originally developed to avoid the issues tied to lead contamination, these bullets are precision machined from a single piece of copper. There's no lead core at all, which eliminates fragmentation and makes for incredibly reliable performance. Top-tier brands like Barnes and Magtech are leading the charge in this category. Take the Barnes TACXPD, for example. It's known for forming tight shot groups, expanding reliably, and holding together through tough barriers. The clean all-copper design also means less fouling and a longer service life for your barrel. Now, copper doesn't come cheap, and machining these bullets takes more time and precision than your average lead core hollow point. But here's the thing. If you're running something like a 357 Magnum revolver, an SCHP round can help mitigate a common revolver problem: flame cutting from high-pressure loads. Since copper is lighter than lead, the bullet is longer for the same weight, and it engages the forcing cone more, gradually helping reduce wear. Yes, these rounds will cost you more, but for consistent expansion, deep penetration, and less barrel erosion, solid copper hollow points are a smart long-term investment. Number 9. Fluid Transfer Monolithic Fluted Rounds. Rounding out this list are the most radical and arguably the most futuristic self-defense bullets out there. Fluid Transfer Monolithic Projectiles, also known as fluted rounds. These hit the market around 2016 and flipped the script on conventional bullet design. Companies like Lehigh Defense with their Extreme Defense line and Polycase with the ARX introduced this new approach to terminal ballistics. Instead of using expansion to create tissue damage, these bullets rely on fluid dynamics. Deep-cut flutes are milled into the bullet's tip, and when it strikes soft tissue, it channels fluid outwards at high velocity, causing massive pressure spikes and wide wound cavities without the bullet deforming at all. These rounds are usually machined from solid copper and maintain their shape remarkably well, even when going through drywall or heavy clothing. They don't clog, and they often meet or exceed Federal Bureau of Investigation standards for penetration. Brands like Norma, Novex, Winchester, Underwood, and Black Hills have all jumped on board, offering their own variations. The trade-offs: price is a big one. These bullets require high-end machining. There's also the potential for over-penetration because these rounds retain their shape and punch deep. But if you're after the latest in performance and barrier-blind capability, fluid transfer monolithic bullets are hard to beat. They're not just a trend, they're the tip of the spear when it comes to cutting-edge defensive ammunition.